You've met someone. They're everything you've hoped for: attentive, affectionate, empathetic. They listen deeply. They mirror your words. They make you feel seen. But somewhere along the way, you begin to feel tired, a little more anxious, a little less yourself. You second-guess your gut. You start to shrink quietly. Carl Jung said, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate." In dating, that fate often feels like love, but it's not. It's a wound in disguise. Today, I'm going to show you 3 red flags so dangerous, so quietly corrosive, that if you see them, you need to run, not walk, not wait, run. These are not cliches. These are not surface-level icks. These are signs of emotional erosion masquerading as intimacy. And if you've already ignored them, this might be your wake-up call. Let's begin. Red flag 1. You feel like their therapist, not their partner. They tell you everything: their trauma, their ex, their emotional scars, and you, being empathetic, open wide. You listen. You hold space. You become their safe place. But over time, you become their emotional crutch. You can't fall apart because they always fall apart first. You can't speak up because their pain is louder. You can't breathe because their wounds take up all the air. They don't want a partner. They want a parent, someone to carry what they refuse to heal. Jung taught us, what we do not confront in ourselves, we will encounter as fate. And for them, you are that fate. You are the one they offload everything onto without ever asking what it's costing you. And what it's costing is your joy, your peace, your clarity. This is not intimacy. This is emotional outsourcing. And if you keep playing the role of healer, you'll forget you were ever whole yourself. Red flag 2. They mirror you too perfectly. They like what you like. They've felt what you felt. They agree with your beliefs, your goals, your soul. It feels magnetic, faded, but what you're feeling isn't resonance, it's strategy. Jung called it the persona, the mask we wear to survive social expectations. And some people, they've turned it into an art form. They show you not who they are, but who you need them to be. They reflect, they flatter, they adapt. But ask yourself, have you really seen them? Have they ever disagreed with you, shown you a scar, stood in something authentic, or are they just shape-shifting to secure your affection? It doesn't feel like deception, it feels like closeness. That's what makes it dangerous, because you think, they're just like me. But no, they're a mirror, and mirrors don't love, they reflect. When the mask slips, and it always does, you'll be left loving someone who was never real, and worse, they'll resent you for it, because playing your fantasy cost them their identity, and now they'll punish you for their emptiness. Red flag 3. They subtly undermine your intuition. You say, something doesn't feel right. They say, you're overthinking. You express a boundary. They respond with a sigh. You're too sensitive. And just like that, you begin to doubt what was once undeniable. Your gut. This isn't obvious gaslighting. This is soft, polished invalidation, the kind that wraps itself in concern. They don't yell, they don't insult. They just plant tiny seeds of self-doubt until you're silencing yourself before they ever have to. This is not a misunderstanding. This is a strategy. Jung warned us, the ego will distort truth to protect itself. And when someone can't own their impact, they'll turn you into the problem. You'll become too emotional, too intense, too much. And one day, you'll wake up wondering who you are and how you got so small. Let me be clear. Anyone who makes you question your intuition is not your soulmate. They're your signal to leave. Bonus red flag. They never apologize, only explain. You finally speak up. You say, that hurt me. They say, it's because of my trauma. My childhood, my stress. They explain and explain and explain, but they never say two words, "I'm sorry." And if they do, it's followed by a "but." "I'm sorry, but you were being dramatic." "I'm sorry, but I didn't mean it that way." Let me tell you something brutal. This is not self-awareness. This is emotional escape artistry. Jung said, people will do anything, no matter how absurd, to avoid facing their own soul. And when someone uses their past to excuse their present, they're not growing, they're hiding, they aren't being honest, they're being clever. Because if they can explain it, they never have to own it. Don't fall for the psychology speak. Don't fall for the "I'm working on myself" facade, because if healing doesn't lead to accountability, it's just performance. Closing thoughts. If you've seen even one of these red flags, don't rationalize, don't explain it away, don't wait. Because people don't just drain you with malice. They drain you with neediness, with stories, with charisma, with apologies that never come. And if you keep betraying your gut to preserve the relationship, you'll lose the most important relationship of all, the one with yourself. This is your moment, not to fix them, to rescue you. Jung called it individuation, the becoming of the self. And sometimes that journey begins the moment you walk away from someone who was never willing to meet you there. Comment below, "I choose clarity over fantasy." Let this be your declaration, your boundary, your return to your truth, and don't stop here. The next video will show you how your unconscious wounds choose who you fall for and how to stop mistaking chemistry for chaos. You've started the awakening. Now finish it. Watch it now.